こんにちは、おまえです。今回はグラウンドゼロが最高峰を目指して開発したパワーアンプウルトラ A-2 の特徴を解説しています。解説にはグラウンドゼロのアジアセールスマネージャー兼 R&D チームのピーターさんを招き紹介してもらっていますので、ぜひ参考にしてください。ちなみにこのチャンネルではカーオーディオを始めるきっかけとなるような情報や、もっとカーオーディオを楽しめるような情報を配信していきますので、ぜひチャンネル登録とアプリのダウンロードをよろしくお願いします。グラウンドゼロは1995年にカール・フェリックス・ラウトナー氏によって設立され、メイドイン USA のカーオーディオ製品を販売し、1997年に GZ エンジニアリング USA の革新的なサブウーファーをヨーロッパ市場に導入しました。翌年にはグラウンドゼロのヨーロッパ市場における商標権を取得し、製品開発に着手しました。2003年には米国からグローバル商標を引き継ぎ、世界に向けて販売を開始しました。現在では社内で設計開発された400以上に上るカーオーディオ製品を世界65カ国以上で販売しています。さまざまな国の専門誌や音質・音圧競技で数多くの賞を獲得しているグラウンドゼロの製品ラインナップは、スピーカー、サブウーファー、パワーアンプ、さらにデジタルオーディオ機器など多岐にわたります。グラウンドゼロは音楽の魂や演奏者の意図を伝えるためにリアルな音作りを追求し、ユーザーの要望にも応えながら音楽に敬意を払うことを忘れない商品開発を行っているブランドです。それではグラウンドゼロのアジアセールスマネージャー兼 R&D チームのピーターさんによるウルトラ A2 パワーアンプの特徴を解説した動画をご覧ください。
Yeah, Ultra A2 is the name, and GroundZero, we wanted to make a statement and create best possible car audio amplifier, basically. Since we didn't want to do any compromises, we choose the true dual mono design, so we don't have any channel leakage between left and right channel, totally independent. Second, we wanted to have a more or less unlimited frequency range. We didn't want any limitations, so some people call it high resolution. Basically we created an amplifier with a frequency range up to 80 kilohertz. That is more than enough, I guess. And that was not so easy. It required some quite advanced engineering to achieve that, and also to choose other ways of designing the amplifier. One limiting factor normally in amplifiers is the op-amp. There are good op-amps, there are very good op-amps, and so on, but we choose to not use any op-amp at all. Let the signal go straight through the amplifier. Other benefits of not using an op-amp is, or gain control for example, is you don't get any phase issues. The phase is absolutely stable. That is a key feature. And I mentioned no gain control. How do we control the input signal for different level in? We use a switch instead of gain control. And this switch, we looked around the world to find the best of the best, and we happened to find the A-2 switches from Switzerland. They are the best in the world. So we choose the best switch they have, that normally is produced by hand by one man in Switzerland, but they had to increase their production so we could have enough switches. And these switches we use for input sensitivity and also for the bias control. The bias control is a feature that allows us to operate how much distortion we want out from the amplifier. we bias control the end transistors and keep them open. It's like idling a car. If you have a idle RPM in a car, like 800 RPM, for example, you could have higher idling. And if you have higher idling on the car will respond faster to acceleration, basically. And the same thing with the amplifier. By keeping the transistors open, we reduce distortion very much. So we have two settings. We have the low bias that give very, very, very good sound, and then we have the high setting, high bias. Difference for the amplifier is current draw and temperature. With high bias, the current draw is around 6 ampere. Can be higher a little bit, can be low a little bit, because the circuit is adjusting in real time, so it's different to measure exactly. And with the lower bias setting, we have 2.5 ampere roughly. But you can, if you have good speakers, you can actually hear the difference in the sound from the amplifier, going high bias and low bias. Other super high-end amplifiers on the market already, some of them sound very good actually. They sound very sweet, very elegant, very sophisticated and so on. What we felt was that, what about combining also power and dynamics with having this sweet sound? And so we decided to go that way by building a power supply for the amplifier, or actually two separate power supplies, that is in short double as powerful as we need just to have the power reserves. So if you look on the capacity of the two combined power supplies, we have 120 amperes that the amplifier can use, 60 ampere per channel. And that is more than double what we need. But if you listen carefully to the amplifier, you can actually hear that. That's a very, very good foundation. The bass is very, very controlled. The bass is very, very detailed, and so on. And even the most difficult speakers sound very controlled with this amplifier. The last thing is, this is a true dual mono amplifier, a true stereo amplifier. So therefore, it's not possible to put it in bridge mode. We recommend, if you want to use it for subwoofers, you use subwoofers with double voice coil, and just connect the amplifier in stereo. The last detail, that's the cooling. If you want to create a very efficient cooling system for the amplifier or amplifiers you use in the car, you can add water cooling to this amplifier. It's fully prepared for it. You have inlets and outlets, very easy to install aftermarket water cooling as well. And if you look on the power, this amplifier is quite small actually, if you compare the footprint versus the power it actually delivers. It gives in 4 ohm over 2 times 200 watt. I think we measured 2 times 220, something like that. So, and the length of the amplifier is only 50 centimeters. So, yeah, it's quite efficient. To have full control of the production of the amplifier, it's very important that we can control the quality. We actually choose to produce these amplifiers in England. So they are handmade in England, and then they are shipped to Germany, and then we ship them on around the world. Last detail, you will find that some of the electronic parts in this amplifier you've never seen before, and the reason for that is they didn't exist before. We had actually to develop them to get the quality we needed. One example could be the capacitors in the power supply that is developed for us by Mundorf in Germany.
以上がグラウンドゼロが最高峰を目指して開発したパワーアンプウルトラ A-2 の特徴を解説した動画でした。パワーアンプの追加によって映画館のような迫力あるボリュームで音楽を楽しめるようになることはもちろん、音質面での改善効果もかなり高いので、ぜひチャレンジしてみてください。カーオーディオに関してもっと詳しく知りたい方や、いろいろと相談したい方、感動する音楽を体感したい方は、説明欄に全国のカーオーディオプロショップリストへのリンクを貼り付けておきますので、お問い合わせ、もしくは来店してご相談ください。また、今回紹介した商品や、他のおすすめ動画へのリンクも紹介していますので、興味のある方はぜひご覧ください。最後まで見てくれてありがとうございます。それではまた。